Have you ever wanted to create your own handicapping dream team? You can now build your own superstar handicapping lineup using our Pick Your Team program at both wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com. Even more exciting, until Sunday, January 16th at midnight, you can save 15% off your Pick Your Team using coupon code PYT15 when checking out. Dave Koken, Marco D'Angelo, and Ralph Michaels, John Ryan, Joseph D'Amico, and Rocketman. The combinations are endless, and you can choose up to 5 handicappers. You start saving once you choose any 2 handicappers of your choice, and you can pay as little as under $6 per handicapper. Who will make your dream lineup? Just go to Wager Talk or Sports Memo, click Pick Your Team, and personally hand-select your handicapping roster. Don't forget, coupon code PYT15 will expire January 16th, so make sure to get your 15% discount.
Welcome, everyone. This is the Friday edition of the NBA Triple Double Show, powered by the Predictive Playbook and presented to you by Sports Memo TV. And Ron and I have everything covered for you for the Friday slate. Ron, our show record now is 31 wins, 13 losses against the spread. That's 70.5% over our last 14 shows, and we're going to get right at it and see if we can't produce another 2-1 or a perfect 3-0. And the card that we like, I actually like this card quite a bit. And we're going to start with the San Antonio Spurs taking on the Philadelphia 76ers, who are starting to play pretty darn well. They still have some players out, like Tyrese Maxey is not playing due to the illness and COVID-19 protocols. But the Spurs are struggling to get up to 500. What do they do over the course of the season is another story, but they're currently 15-22. However, they're 21-16 against the numbers, so they're a moneymaker there. Surprisingly, the Sixers are a losing record home team. And my personal take on it, I think you would agree, Ronald, is that 7-8 record does not reflect full strength of the 76ers. And most of those games were when Embiid was out and a bunch of other guys were out. They played several games without Tobias Harris and Embiid in the lineup. So I think that's a little misleading. But take it away here and tell me who you think the best bet is in this matchup tonight.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the total in this game. You know, the Sixers, like you mentioned, they're coming in hot. They won their last 5 games and covered 4 of them. You know, their current form is pretty solid right now, even with some of the health protocol and injuries that they're dealing with. Their offensive rating is actually number 1 in the league in their last 5 games, and number 2 in net rating at 13.6. But like you mentioned, you know, their record at home and their spread, their record against the spread hasn't been too solid at home, but that, like you mentioned, it could be because of, you know, guys being out and some of their roster issues that they've had. But one thing that stayed constant was their 11-4 to the under. So that's the way that I'm looking at here. And the Spurs, you know, they're coming off a win over the Boston Celtics and DeJounte Murray's first game back. But they're playing on the road, and they're a different team on the road versus when they're at home. I think I mentioned this in a few shows ago. They're in home games this season, they're scoring 115 points per game and allowing 113 points per game. But on the road, they're scoring 107.5 points per game and allowing just 108 points per game. And that's a 12.5 point gap between home and road. And that's the main reason they're 13-6 and 1 to the under on the road this season versus 12-4-1 to the over at home. And I think the under is the play in this game, and I lean towards the Sixers. Obviously, what you mentioned about the home record and being kind of misleading because of the injuries and stuff like that. I still lean the Sixers this way.
Yeah, I like it. One question for you, Ron. With the pace of play, San Antonio is one of the fastest pace of play teams in the NBA. I believe they're third. They're averaging quite a few shot attempts. With the underplay, do you think this the presence of Embiid on the floor, because the Sixers average about 6 fewer shot attempts per game when Embiid is on the floor than when he's not? Do you have any concern with San Antonio's willingness to just run and gun?
No, so you know how Murray just came back recently. I was looking at this.
Mm-hmm.
They've only played 5 games, without Murray. And, they actually play a slower pace with Murray on the court for some reason. It's like 104 without him and down to like 98 or 99
Wow.
with him. So that's something that I looked at recently. And, obviously their offensive rating goes a little bit higher with Murray on the court too, but their defensive rating stays about the same. So just looking at the pace of play with Murray on the court for the Spurs, it actually fits better with the Sixers game. And that's kind of like why I like the under here and leaning towards the Sixers. Thanks.
So let's move on to the next game here. Washington Wizards, they're ninth right now in the Eastern Conference with an even 19-19 record. Pretty much even across the board. 18-19-1 against the spread. 19-18-1 on the over-under. Away they're 9-12. As an underdog, they're 9-12. But they're taking on one of our favorite teams, Ronald, the Chicago Bulls. So we played in the futures market in the season wins of 41.5 for the season. That looks like that's going to take care of itself with the Bulls being 25-10 already. 21-14 against the spread, over under 17-18. At home, they are 13-4 as a favorite, 20-5. I can't imagine you're on the Wizards in this game, but let's see where your best bet is.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm looking at the Bulls here. They won 8 straight, and somehow they failed to cover their last 3, which is pretty crazy because I was actually on them, and that's part of the reason why I'm on a little losing streak here. But even though they were favored by 2 points in one game and 3 points in another, they won the game but didn't cover. That killed me. But overall this season, the Bulls have been strong as home favorites of 2 or more points. In that situation, they're actually 11-1 straight up and 9-3 against the spread. They're well rested. They haven't played since the 3rd, and they'll be getting back Caruso, which will be big for them because their team's offensive and defensive efficiency actually gets a boost when he's in the lineup. I really like how he fits into this Bulls team. I think people are going to look at this game as a revenge spot for the Wizards, but the Bulls were able to get the W without Lonzo and Caruso last time, and I think they have a better squad now, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to win this game straight up and possibly, hopefully, win this one by double digits.
Yeah, I like it too. The last time they played was on New Year's Day. Washington lost by 1. Chicago was the road team. They were favored by 2 in that matchup, and Washington actually covered. And what I think too, we're getting a pretty cheap price here. It kind of reminds me of the Sixers side a little bit. Washington covered 4 of the last 5. They lost their last game to the spread, as well as straight up to the Houston Rockets. And the Chicago Bulls are actually lost 3 in a row to the spread. So although they won against Orlando, defeated Washington, and also defeated the Pacers of Indiana, they lost to the spread in all 3 of those wins. So I think the market here is a little bit overreactive and making the Bulls quite cheap. So I'm with you on that one. I'm with you. I'm 2 for 2 so far. And I do think, it's not quantified, but I think when we agree on all 3 as solid bets to go to the window with, I think we've gone 2-1 and 3-0. Our last game, Ronald, is the Minnesota Timberwolves. They are 9th in the Western Conference. This is being played at Paycom Center, 8 o'clock tonight, and that means the Oklahoma City Thunder are the hosts. Both teams with losing records. However, the Thunder have really outperformed the market expectations. They're 24-13 against the spread on the season. The under in their games, which is surprising to me, is 23-14. As an underdog, they're 12-23. They are currently at 5.5 or 6-point home dog to Minnesota, who's 7-10 away. So it just seems like it's too many points. But what do you think, Ronald?
Yeah, I agree. I'm on the Thunder here. The Thunder, they're 12-5 against the spread as home dogs this season, and they've covered their last 6 as home dogs, and actually won 4 of those outright. So these 2 teams, they played each other a couple of days ago. The Wolves won the game at home, but the Thunder did cover. I think this is a solid spot for the Thunder to cover again and possibly win this one outright. I believe they get Lou Dort back, and they'll be that's going to be huge for them because he's their second leading scorer on the season. And the Wolves, they just played 3 tough road games, then they played 1 at home. which was Wednesday against the Thunder, and then now they start a long 4-game road trip here. I think they, knowing they just beat these guys pretty easily a couple of days ago, I can see the Wolves kind of holding back a little bit and doing just enough to try and win the game to preserve some energy for this road trip. But I think the Thunder can take advantage of that and cover the spread and possibly win this one outright in a quick revenge spot.
Yeah, I like it too. Supporting Oklahoma City, they're 22-7-1 when facing teams like Minnesota that attempt 39 or more three-point shots per game on the season, and that spans the last 3 seasons. They are also 16-3-1 against the number versus teams like Minnesota that don't draw a lot of fouls per game. In fact, they don't attempt many free throws per game. Minnesota does. So Minnesota is averaging less than 21 free throws per game on the season, which is pretty weak. And Oklahoma City is 16-3-1 against those types of teams. So I think we have a barking dog among us on that card. So I guess that will do it for today. And we have the 3 plays, which are the under in the Sixers-San Antonio game. We have the Oklahoma City Thunder as a live dog. And I may suggest sprinkling a little bit on the money line in that one too. And then, of course, we really do like the Chicago Bulls to take care of business tonight. So that will basically take care of our show. Thanks for watching this NBA Triple Double show, and take a moment to subscribe and hammer the bell. That way you'll never miss another episode. You'll get notified for the college basketball shows, the NFL playoffs that start next week. Anything that we produce, you will get notified right away. So thank you for being with me, Ronald. I'm tongue-tied today. I apologize. So we'll be back again with another Triple Double show on Monday. So until then, always remember, bet with your head and not over it, and may all the wins be yours.
Have you ever wanted to create your own handicapping dream team? You can now build your own superstar handicapping lineup using our Pick Your Team program at both wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com. Even more exciting, until Sunday, January 16th at midnight, you can save 15% off your Pick Your Team using coupon code PYT15 when checking out. Dave Koken, Marco D'Angelo, and Ralph Michaels, John Ryan, Joseph D'Amico, and Rocket Man. The combinations are endless, and you can choose up to 5 handicappers. You start saving once you choose any 2 handicappers of your choice, and you can pay as little as under $6 per handicapper. Who will make your dream lineup? Just go to Wager Talk or Sports Memo, click Pick Your Team, and personally hand select your handicapping roster. Don't forget, coupon code PYT15 will expire January 16th, so make sure to get your 15% discount.